So we're just going to look at joining now our multiples of hexagons, if that's what you want to do. So the best way to do that is if you get two of your hexagons and put them right sides together, you're going to sew the top edge here together. So I'm just going to take the end of my thread through the back seamed edge there of the hexagon, and then what we're doing is just going over and over in a whip stitch there. So you're not catching the paper, and we're just, sorry, there's another bit of thread there that's got caught. We're just catching the very edge of the top edge of the hexagon there. So that's called your whip stitch, which is seems the most traditional way to do it. The way I've occasionally worked before is called a ladder stitch, where rather than going over and over like that, I just come over to the other side, feel along that sort of folded edge, wiggle the thread along, come out, and then come back into the other side. And rather than all the way through, I'm again just wiggling it through the folded edge of the seam allowance, and keep doing that either side. In that way, doing this ladder stitch, you don't see any stitching, but doing it just the whip stitch way is fine, because you're only going to see the little stitches on the back of the hexagon anyway, especially if you use a thread that's sort of the predominant colour in your print. So if I'd used a white on this, it would show up more. Then when I open that here, you see that it's attached now to the other hexagon. To then start doing the join gets a little bit tricky, because it's harder then to fold that together. So that is more of a case of doing your ladder stitching. So I'll sort of come over into the seam allowance of your other hexagon, and we're just wiggling along that seam, pulling that in over to the other hexagon, catching a little bit. So I can't just have it folded over when you start joining them three together, say. So that ladder stitch there works better when you're joining three together.